Okay, so it is already 2 p.m. So we can start, see if other registrants are coming in the meantime. So welcome, good day, everyone. We are glad to be here for you and that you have interest in this topic. As you know, HATO Agricultural Lighting is working on sharing our insights with people from the sector. And today, the topic is about how to improve dairy cattle performance through lighting. Through all the year, we promote these webinars in our social media, so other trending topics will come by. So please keep an eye on the social media channels, for sure in LinkedIn, in our website as well. And we also send the invitations to our partners and customers so they can get to know a bit more of a specialized lighting for livestock. Welcome. I appreciate your time of being here. Today is Roel van der Linden, Business Director Cattle with us. And he will also be presenting the lighting solution that HATO has as an innovative solution in cattle barns. Please, Roel.
Yeah, thank you very much. So thank you all for joining. I really appreciate you all taking time to show interest in this topic, and we're really motivated to give you all the insights that we can share with you today. Christabel will kick off with a beautiful inside story and some slides that will tell you a lot about the actual cows, about the animals, and how their sight works and how their behavior is. And after that, I will show you a little bit more about the lighting solutions, and there is time for questions afterwards via the chat. So thank you very much, Christabel. If you want, you may kick it off.
Yes, thank you, Roel. Well, if people keep joining, good timing. So we will start, and I'm sure you will enjoy it. Take your notes. If you have any questions, something pops up when we are on a slide, write it on the chat, and we will come back to you at the end of the presentation. So. First, a quick introduction about HATO for those that those are not HATO that much, as we have been for years, more already than 45 years in the agricultural market. We have started with lights for mushrooms, and that technology has been brought to livestock housing. And our most experience was in, or is still today, in poultry, but we have been also very busy with very good solution, excellent results in the pig sector and now in the cattle sector. And therefore we are now here to talk about how, as our tagline is saying, we can improve life through brightness. That is our mindset on how can we really come into improve the well-being of animals in the way that we will improve their vision, and in that from that perspective the animals have a different behavior that has a more let's say accurate on each application, the way that they will perform. And at the end, that will bring you better results, but not only for the animal, because if you combine the key aspects of lighting with a very good solution, you can really come into better results for the farmer in the way that you can save costs, but also the results at the end in more productivity. So we will see how can we get those in practical. And to start, we have to understand what is light. So how you perceive light, how is the way that animals perceive light, and what is it? So what is behind the light? What are those aspects that we should matter in order to have the right solution for our animals? So as definition, light is the visible part of the electromagnetic spectrum. So as we see here in the graphic is a capture of the daylight, and we see the full spectrum of light that it goes from the ultraviolet until the infrared. And that is a combination of colors, and each color is a different wavelength in this light spectrum. And we see here numbers that are the nanometers. So each wavelength is measured in nanometers. And we see, for instance, that the ultraviolet is 350 nanometers, meaning that is a short wavelength, while the infrared is about 750 to 850. That is a longer wave of light. So that is how we will define the color of our lights. So the tone of white that we will perceive that lighting solution. So the light that as we have it from the sun is that we perceive as white light, but as said, it's a combination of all these wavelengths, all these colors, and that is what makes the white light. Now, when you look for a lighting solution, artificial lighting, you should look into a solution that gives you a broad light spectrum to have a more combination of this color to get a very good white light that simulates the daylight. So even if you have in your house entry of daylight, perhaps it's not being sufficient for your animals to have a proper growth and the right development and behavior to get more benefits in your farm if you are not having the right light and color in your barn. So we will see here little by little how this can be put in place to understand better and to get better performance with our animals. So every species perceives this light spectrum in different ways. So we humans perceive light differently in the way that cattle perceives this light spectrum. So you see from this full spectrum of light, so we see it in this curve. We have three cones where we can see much more colors than cattle that has only 2 cones, and their vision is more focused on the blue and green side of the spectrum, meaning that we need to adapt the light into the way that the cattle perceives this light in order to improve vision, meaning that if they have more visibility in this color, so we need to focus into a lighting solution that is a bit more within the blue and green spectrum, meaning that we will have a light that is called cool white, and that is what we measured in Kelvin degrees. And then you will have about 4,000 Kelvin degrees, in the sector that is known as cool white, that white color that has a bit of bluish because it has more presence of blue and green. Now, if we have this broad light spectrum, we for sure improve sight, improve their animal well-being, because they will feel better when they see better, they can recognize better their surroundings, and they have less stress, that knowing what is around, and even they can find better the feed, and in that way you can also stimulate feed intake. So that is very important to have the good light at the right place. And in that way, you can improve performances in your farm. So, but how does cattle see? So we see here, they have a panoramic vision of 340 degrees. So they have a blind spot in the back. The majority vision, they have it as monocular vision and short binocular vision, meaning that it's difficult for them to estimate distances. Therefore, it's very important to have a good distribution of light, and in that way they can better perceive their environments and surroundings, and have less stress and less injuries if they come into other part of the equipment and not coming right in the right place to follow to go to the feeders and so on. So it is very good to have a good light distribution. And even they can perceive lower lighting densities than humans. So it's good to know which kind of color of light and in which intensity in order to get a better behavior of the cow. Now, you see here is a comparison on the way that cattle sees in this spectrum of color vision and the way that humans perceive it. So we need to adapt the light into the needs of the animal to get a better results. Now, I would like to know from you, what aspects do you consider important in a lighting installation? Here, I'm telling you what is light, and that light spectrum is one of these aspects that we should take into account just to start to get to know more about the important aspects of lighting, but also what is your current situation? What is the thing that you think when you will install lights? So I have here some options. I will launch now the poll. It is this one, and you are able to answer more than one option. Is it lighting density, good quality of the light, easy installation, low energy costs, or others? If you think about other things, please write it on in the chat, and then we can come back to that later on. Okay, so I'll end the poll. We see that majority has put on low energy costs and then lighting density, of course, but still you look for a good quality solution. And of course, is installation. Majority then, of course, energy costs. And here it is well important. Hopefully everyone is considering LED lighting because it's the solution that gives you more benefits, not only about these aspects of lighting, and but of course on saving energy costs. So the fluorescence is already a solution that down the energy costs, but if you go to LED lighting and specialize for livestock, then you will get even more energy efficiency, but also light efficiency, because light will not be lost to the ceiling, but really going to the ground. And if you know where to install the lights, then you will get the maximum light distribution and efficiency and the light output that it should go to the cows and not get lost into the certain spots, because even you might not be having uniformity. So design and installation of the lamp plays also a very important role in here. Now, talking about the aspects of lighting, besides the low energy costs, we will have to ensure that we are understanding the way light is really influencing in the behavior of the animal. We have to really keep in mind that light is an essential aspect, not aspect, but really equipment, part of the equipment of the house that is always there. So even if it is natural daylight, or if you will support it with artificial light, you always think about having lighting in your barn. So in the way that you think about feed and water, so essential is light, because light is just what creates the day cycle, and the dark period and day period. So you always need those hours of light for a proper growth and for a proper evolution of the animal. So therefore, all these aspects are important. So if you have read them, we have already talked about light spectrum. The color related temperature is the CCT. What we said is the tone of white. We will show you some images to define the others, to understand in a practical way what every aspect of light means and influences the animal behavior. So here we set for the CCT, knowing that they perceive better with the green and blue color, then we advise a solution that is a cool white of 4,000 Kelvin degrees. In this way, you will see the spectrum that is reflected with this light. here with a higher peak on the blue, and this is the way it is adapted to cow vision. And now with the blue lighting, it's also the fact that increases milk production. So Roel will tell you a bit more about the application of the blue color in our lighting solution. And for more specific questions, we will be there to understand better how this is creating better productivity. That also knowing that with higher lighting densities and also more hours of light, you can increase this milk production. So it is very important that you are giving the right light in your house. For the CRI, we see in those images how the CRI is closer to 100, is the best that the color presentation comes as we see it in sunlight. So as higher it goes, is you see that the colors are more clear. So for livestock, ideal is to have solution as from 80, and there you are able to improve color vision, and in that way you reduce stress. They can identify better their surroundings and improve animal well-being, and with that way increase performances. Now, photo period is also, as I was saying, lighting is always present. There is always hours of light, dark periods, and with artificial lighting, you can support to extend those hours of light to stimulate feed intake, to activate the cow, and in that way you will increase milk production, but in a more efficient way if you have an optimal light climate. So it's really a tool that helps you to steer a bit the behavior of the animal, because light influences always the biological process of every species. It's only that we need to know how to put this in practice. Okay, so this is very important to enable also the animals for adaptation and recognition. Okay, I have a second poll here. I will launch it by now. Hold on a moment. Here, so now you are able to answer. How many looks do you think cattle should have in the house? Is it 100 looks, 120, 150, or 200 looks? Okay, higher lighting densities, well known, that is here required. We agree with you, between 150 and 200 looks. Roel will come back to you in regards to this application. Okay, so we will proceed. Let's go to the next slide. The other aspects of lighting is, you were mentioning already, lighting density. And as such, higher lighting densities are required in here, but it's important as well the light distribution. And as such, the installation plays a very important role. So where you will put your lights, how many lights, the distance in between it, and where do you want that the light goes well perceived by your cattle to really have this increase in performances. So a light plan is very important to notice, to have the intensity of light where it matters, and then this uniformity of a light distribution. So as you see here, light where is the cows mainly resting and when they are eating on those areas, is very important to have these high lighting densities, and to play with photo period, also to stimulate feed intake and productivity. So here is from 100 to 150, and we see a nice light distribution along the barn. About the benefits of good lighting and the solution, I will give the word to Roel, and he will explain you really an application how this is the best for cattle, for dairy cattle application. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, thanks, Christabel, for that information so far, which is obviously all about the actual animals where we're making these lights for. As a solution to the problems and the lighting that is needed, just shown for the actual cows, we have made a light. And before I will tell you a lot about the light, I would like to mention that a lot of independent studies have been done during the years about lighting for cows and for other animals as well. But if you start investigating and if you look around, there's many universities that have done research among the fact that cows would give more milk if you put them in a good lighting. Now, a few of these I've summarized here together, and they're on the screen now, and they all show an average increase, all combined, of approximately 7.5%. This is all done with normal lights, no lights that were specifically made for cows. This was all done by fluorescent lights, or maybe the ones in the 90s already by other lamps that were available back then, but never with lights that had the right spectrum. The spectrums were never mentioned in these studies. So what we started doing as HATO a few years ago, after being successful in both poultry, mushrooms, pigs, and other animal types, we started doing research after this fact, and we started adding the certain colors into the spectrum. Just as you see the needs from the animal, we started making lights where these spectrums all come together, and we basically made sure that the lights that we would produce for the cows would have the best light available for them. And after some studies that we've done in the Netherlands, Italy, China, we've had great results from implementing the blue lights, and we've got many cases where the 7.5% is topped quite well. So we're really confident in this product. You could go to the next slide if you would like. So next to the dairy farming, I also put a slide in for the young cattle, because this is quite important as well. The investigations and the research that has been done is not only limited to dairy cattle. For dairy cattle, is of course very measurable, and it's easy to measure. Well, easy in a lot of places when there is good management around. It's quite easy to measure the output of milk. But what has also been researched by a few studies, among one in the Netherlands from the University in Wageningen, is that young cattle grows much faster under the right circumstances when it comes to light. Now, I'm not sure, because the attendees here are all from different countries, but I've heard, and I'm not 100% sure how it goes in every country, but growing up your young cattle is quite an investment, and it costs you quite some money. So if you can make some speed and progress in this, it will save you money ultimately as well. So that's about young cattle. There is not so much research about this than there is for dairy cattle, but it's something we would like to mention. We could go to the next one. When it comes to the dairy cows, as already shown in the research publications, there is an increase of milk yield, which has been proven. It has been tested not only by us, but next to that, it's very important that the right amount of lighting also really improves the vision and the well behavior of your animals. They will most probably, when lighting is sufficient, they will have more time where they rest. So they will be laying down more than they would be in the dark, which is something that might sound strange, but that's a fact that comes from research as well. And because of that, they will have more time and less activity, and that will help to produce more for them. That's basically the whole ideology behind it. Next to that, there is a reduce in stress, and it stimulates the fertility. That's something that comes out of the research as well. But to have all of this, you need to make sure that you have the right lighting at the right place. And as Christabel was already showing, in a lot of barns that you still see in Europe, you see, especially in Northern Europe, you see very high barns where they have lights all the way in the top. They shatter light down, and basically the high intensity of light that is created in the top notch of the barn will not really reach the bottom where the where it would be actually needed. It will also create a lot of shadows from surroundings that are there, because you've got ventilators inside, you've got other supports and bars going through your barn, and they will all create shadows, and cows do not like shadows. They prefer not to have any shadows. So the lighting solution that we have made, as you can see already on the picture here in the back, plays a little bit lower, and it makes sure that the light is at the right area. So yeah, you could go to the next slide if you like. So I also thought of a question in my part of the presentation. When you're considering new lights for your companies, what is the most important feature for you when you're considering new lights?
So people is voting. Right. So I will now end the poll and share results.
That's good. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed, a majority respond on animal welfare, energy savings, and less improved milk yield.
Yeah. Great to hear that. Of course, the improved milk yield is a very big plus. I always find the improved milk yield a great. It's a great point to invest in something like this, and the energy savings, they are a little bit they're a little bit difficult to express compared to the improved milk yield, because what we hear a lot is that they have farmers have lights already in their facilities, and then when we make a light plan and we make sure that the right lux levels are everywhere and the right light um, is around there, then you see that you need much more lights than you would have in the old situation. So it's always a very difficult aspect, because if you want the animal welfare, the improved milk yield, you cannot compare it to old situations that you have in barns, because most of the old facilities, they do not have the right lux levels and they do not have the right lightings inside. So it's always quite a difficult situation. I would now like to show you our light that we have created for cattle, and it will be shown on the next pictures. Since HATO has started investigating and doing research in lighting, we came to the conclusion that we did not want to spend any money on investing on researching a new light that would be also hung up high in a barn. Although there is a lot of demand for these, we do not wish to go into that field. We want to focus more on lights that we've been making for other facilities as well, where we place them at length through the entire barn and make sure that the light will be spread out on the right areas. And cattle really uses the optimal light production from our lights. Now the light that you see here on the picture, it's called the Rudex, which is our light for cattle. And the Rudex has a few very unique selling points, so to say. One of the things that it has that makes it different from the rest of the lights that you can buy on the market is that this light actually has the optimized spectrum where you can mix. So next to the cold white light, we can mix it with a total blue light to make sure that your animal becomes active and starts a right feed intake, which will lead into more than the 8% milk yield that comes out of the studies that I showed you a little bit earlier. Next to that, we're in a world on the moment where, especially within Europe, it's pretty difficult to find good technicians and personnel to do difficult installations. So we made a lamp that's easy to install. This light, for instance, you can mount it in different ways. You can mount it directly into the ceiling when the ceiling is not high enough or not too high. But you could also make sure that you have a steel wire from one end to the other, and you can just click it in with hooks. You can see it on this one. And then the whole system is plug and play. It comes with connectors on both sides. So you can easily go from one to the other side with connectors. It's something you could do pretty easily without a lot of trouble. Because they're hanging lower, You can clean them off real easy as well, and you can just spray them off with water. They are IP67, which means that you can even use a water jet to clean them off. And compared to lights that are a little bit older, this has a very high lumen output. It has 140 lumen per watt, which means that for several European countries, you can get a subsidy from your country if you place them, because it is a very energy efficient light. So yeah, that's basically a few selling points, a few points that are interesting of this lighting solution. To control this, there's many things you can use. HATO themselves, ourselves, we've made an easy controller, a simple controller that you can use for a sunset and a sunrise dimming, together with a DALI converter that we have made for this. But as you see, this is a DALI light, and that means that every single controller that works on the DALI via a DALI protocol can be used, which means that there is a lot of accessories that you can buy aftermarket for it. So the choice is really up to the installers and the end users on what they want. You can make it as difficult or as easy as you would like. Okay.